And that valuable content is the other important part. Think about how you can be providing amazing value in your emails. When somebody opens up their inbox in the morning and there's 500 emails in there, they see yours and they go, "Oh, excellent. I'm so happy to see this one." They're going to delete all the other ones. They're going to open yours because you have a history of giving them massive amounts of value and help and solving their problems.
You are now listening to the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, best-selling author, and Maxwell Leadership Certified Trainer, Dom Brightman. And you're going to be getting some tips and techniques to advance yourself coming up next. Today's episode is sponsored by both books, Going North, Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself, and the follow-up bestseller, Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success. Head over to Amazon.com, pick up both books. They are available in a trifecta of paperback, audio, and ebook. Cop all three of both and be on the lookout for another book from yours truly to help podcasters succeed. Now let's get on with today's episode. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, is the Going North Podcast. We got another super special, awesome human for you today, my friends. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Courtesy of past guests you probably have heard from 2 months ago, Donnie Boivin, who hooked me up with Success Champions Networking Group, baby. That's right indeed. And he connected me through his group and through the spearhead of Laura DeFranco with this wonderful lady right here, who's actually 20 minutes away from me. So she's probably like the closest author who's ever appeared on this podcast. She's like literally 20 minutes away from me. And she is a powerhouse, y'all. She's a mom, she's a wife, and she helps folks create funnel cakes for their books, metaphorically speaking, because she helps them to be an FFA, y'all, financially free author. So let's give it up for the double C. You're going to get a double dose of vitamin C for your business from the one and only Carolyn Choate. How you doing today, Carolyn?
Woo! All right. Super excited to be here. I love spreading the word about book sales funnels and funnel cake.
That's right. The chocolate crunch cake. It's a funnel cake.
Suddenly you want a sales funnel, right? It sounds much more appealing now.
Exactly. Oh, wait. You mean to tell me my book is like an amusement park? It's like, why did Russell Brunson tell me that part? All I heard was potato cannons and you're one funnel away. It's like, where's everything else? Carol's got the amusement park. You didn't tell me about that. But my goodness, ain't just about the wonderful amusement parks. It's about the Carolyn the Champ herself. My goodness, it's your first time on the podcast, and there's probably some folks haven't heard about you yet since they're still living under rocks to hide away from the cold. Mind giving us a bit of your backstory of how you got to where you are today?
Absolutely. Yes. I had a roundabout path to arrive at being a digital marketer. I went to school for fiction writing. I originally was going to be a novelist, 12 years old. I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. I am not learning anything else. I am failing my science classes because I'm going to be a novelist. I wasn't really failing, but was not applying myself. I went to college. I was very dedicated to this one idea. And then I started writing my book. And it took me 10 years to write the first novel. I realized that I was not going to be able to actually make a living. When you're just starting out in writing, I think you have this impression that you'll write one spectacular, great American novel and then you'll be set. I'm not sure how that is supposed to work, but just somewhere in our heads, we're just like, yeah, it's something like that. No. People who are making a living from fiction are putting out a lot of books. I had to rethink where I was going with it, and I still love books, obviously. I had started publishing some of my friends' books and learning more about book marketing, but I discovered my favorite part was the putting together sales funnels. And it wasn't until years later, I was in my mid-30s, a stay-at-home mom, of all things, I just fell in love with sales funnels because it's like a puzzle. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine, a marble run. You put all those pieces together and then you click start and you watch it work, and those people arriving where you want them to arrive, and you just work on this part, and then this part happens on its own. It's magical. I just fell head over heels, started doing sales funnels for all different kinds of online entrepreneurs, mostly coaches, course creators, speakers. And then sometime later, our friend Laura DeFranco said to me, she's a publisher, and she said, my authors don't know what to do with their books after we have the launch. They get a bestseller status and they've got this great tool to build their authority, and they just are not doing anything with it. They need sales funnels. Put together a package for me. And that just made such a huge light bulb go off. I was, wait a minute. I love sales funnels. I love books. I know both of these worlds. Put them together. Obviously. I put together this package for her that I'm now doing pretty much exclusively as my offer, which is setting up a book sales funnel in a single day. I really like getting it done and dusted, because the sooner you have a funnel, the sooner you can get sales through it. So there's no point in dawdling on it. And it's been a lot of fun for me and my clients, who are mostly nonfiction authors, still the coaches and speakers, the ones who have published a book and don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's so darn true. Heck, even just telling me how you got to where you are today still reminds me of that conversation we had about that South Park episode with the underpants gnomes, is how a lot of authors see their work. It's, oh yeah, you write and publish a book and you publish it, and then something happens, and then profit.
Exactly. Step 1, publish book. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit. And I'm here to fill in that question mark.
That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. The question mark you've been looking to have filled is here. Like Carolyn is here. That's right, indeed. And that's one sick ability too, and one great thing to do, because it shows the power of just networking, connecting with the right people. Because like Laura, she publishes a bunch of books with a bunch of authors who have a bunch of stuff to offer, and it's, shoot, hey, this puzzle piece, like, how am I going to get this 5,000 piece puzzle all together when I don't have the time to freaking finish it? It's like, oh, hey, Carol is here. A funnel a day? Oh, shoot. Yay. Funnel away.
Yep. The funnel is the key to everything that authors want their books to do for them. It's the way that you get to passive income. It's the way that the marketing takes care of itself, so you can go back to doing the stuff that you love, whether that's writing more books or coaching. Set up this machine on your website so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And I had this realization that I was doing that for myself years before I knew what a funnel was. That first novel that I published after writing for 10 years, I published that in 2009, and it makes sales every month. It's not hundreds of sales, but it's a few sales, and I do nothing to promote it. That is entirely SEO and funnels. And I know that it works. It's just, it took me a while to realize that other people didn't know how to do this, because it was just something that came very naturally to my brain, putting these systems together. And like I said, I didn't even know what a funnel was. And I was setting up something that brought SEO and encouraged people to buy my book without me having to touch it, just automated. And now I'm like, oh, people really don't understand how to do that. I'll let them stay in their zone of genius, and I'll just take care of it for them. Hand them a funnel that's ready to go.
That's right, indeed. What's the main thing folks get wrong about funnels?
Oh boy.
Okay, top 3 then.
People think that they're complicated, and they don't have to be. I think that it's not surprising that people think they're complicated, because there's a lot of marketers out there going, I can do this thing for you without the complicated funnels. I'm like, dude, shut up. Funnels are not that hard. It's really just connecting these dots, leading people on a path, guiding them step by step to what they need to know to be ready to work with you. I would say the top mistakes are not having a strong hook when you are inviting people onto your email list. The email list, I'll get into in a moment, is a key to the funnel. But a lot of times you come to somebody's website and it says, if you want to keep up with all the news, you can sign up for my newsletter here. You haven't really told anybody why they would want to keep up with your news. Imagine that the person discovering your page has never heard of you before, or maybe they just saw you on LinkedIn and they clicked over. They don't know what benefits you offer. They don't know why it will be awesome for them to be connected to you. A lot of people are missing having that reason. your email address in here because I'm going to send you this awesome resource. I'm going to give you the tips that will solve this problem. Very specific. And then the other thing that happens a lot is people don't email their list. Everybody goes, oh, I don't want to email because I get tons of emails and I hate it and nobody wants to have their inbox flooded. And yes, that is true. We all do get a lot of emails, and I know that you don't want to be bothering people, but I encourage you to change your framing and your mindset on that, because if you only email people once a quarter when you have something to promote, that's how you get a lot of unsubscribes, because people forget who you are and how they got signed up, and they just go, who's this person? It's much better to be touching base with them very consistently so that they remember who you are. When you make an offer, they go, oh, yeah, I've already gotten so much valuable content from them. I want to take the next step. And that valuable content is the other important part. Think about how you can be providing amazing value in your emails. So when somebody opens up their inbox in the morning and there's 500 emails in there, they see yours and they go, oh, excellent. I'm so happy to see this one. They're going to delete all the other ones. They're going to open yours because you have a history of giving them massive amounts of value and help and solving their problems.
Yeah, I definitely can say that again, because that was the same thing I was saying years ago when someone was asking, hey, Don, so what are your thoughts on email marketing? It's like, whatever. I get so many dang emails. Like, I'm not a fan of it. And then a few years later, when I realized social media can be trash, let me go ahead and actually use these emails I've acquired over these years, build a list. And next thing I know, I get a freaking school asking me for 50 books. And this, wait, what? I was saying,
email marketing is still powerful, still where it's at. There's a few reasons. One is that there's no algorithm when it comes to emails. It's going to send that email to everybody on your list, and it's up to them whether they open it or not. Your job is to make a great subject line that tells them why this is going to be a great email. Back to that same idea of the hook. Why should they open it? What's in it for them? It's all in your court. And the other thing that people mention a lot is rented land versus owned land, that you own your email list and you don't own your social media. But I think people rarely go into enough detail about what that means. You have an Instagram account and you're putting all your energy into building an audience on Instagram. I don't need email because I have this huge following on Instagram. What happens if your Instagram account gets hacked? What happens if Instagram changes their rules? Or somebody reports your post and Instagram sides with them for no gosh darn reason, and you lose access to being able to communicate with all of those people? You don't own that platform. That is why building an email list is so important too, because those are people who asked to hear from you, that want you to communicate with them, and it can't be taken away from you in that same way. Now, I think people naturally think, well, couldn't the same thing happen with my email system, my CRM? I'm on MailChimp. Couldn't MailChimp go down or something like that? Yes, it can. And that's why you need to also back up your email list. Every email platform has something called a CSV file. You can download all your subscribers, and I recommend doing that at least once a month, and make a note of how those subscribers got onto your list, because if your email platform goes down or you get hacked or you need to move for whatever reason, you can re-upload that spreadsheet into a new system. But it's going to ask you, where did these email addresses come from? Because they're trying to protect people from spam. They don't want you to have purchased a list on the black market. I don't even know how you get lists on the black market, but I know it's a thing. They're going to ask, did these people actually consent to hear from you? So you need to be able to show them where they did that. But yeah, definitely be saving those contacts, that you always have your list and you can communicate with those people who want to hear from you.
Definitely say that again, because you're so darn right. You just, hey, with an email marketing like service, like software, like MailChimp, you got the chance to download your CSV. Like, you get to download a file and actually keep that information, like social media. You can't just download your followers into a CSV file. He ain't gonna let you do that, buddy.
Back before the Apple privacy things took effect, it was a lot easier to target your Instagram followers and your other followers because of cookies and tracking, and you could do like Facebook ads directly to people who follow you. You can still do that. It's a creepy world out there. And I know people see marketers as very tricksy and underhanded. It doesn't have to be that way, but I understand why we have that reputation because we're living in this world that's like razor's edge between creepy and convenient.
Yeah.
Like, it is super creepy that YouTube showed me the answer to a question that I asked my husband in bed last night. But on the other hand, I really wanted to know the answer. So it's a tricky thing. We've lost a lot of privacy, but it's just so darn helpful.
It's like, hey, I got some help for you. You had that question and I got an answer. Don't worry. My fellow robots aren't stealing your information to sell them and take over the world in 30 years. Don't worry about it.
Now, that's where the black market email lists come from. That is scraping. There are some tricks in the trade, and I stay far away from that stuff because I really believe in treating your audience with kindness and as respecting them as human beings. In some funnels, they really encourage getting somebody on a sales call and then don't let them leave till they say yes. So emotionally manipulate them and say, you have to make a decision right now. You can't sleep on it. That's so unethical. If your product or service is so good, then you do not need to use those kind of tricks. If you need somebody to decide on the spot without having a chance to think about it, then I don't think you have a good program.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true. And that's the good news about Carolyn. She ain't going to just be waiting in the swamp like the Loch Ness Monster. Something just grab you by the foot, be like, come to the funnel. You're not going to just wake up in a random funnel for no reason. Like, how the hell did I end up here?
So all about consent. We want to get you into the funnels that give you the value that you want, the questions that you're asking, the problems that you want solutions to, not random funnels. The same for your audience. We want the people coming into your email list to be the people who have a problem that you solve.
It's, hey, subscribe to my email list. What? Ah, new subscriber yet? It ain't one of those tricks. Those are still for the kids. My goodness, my goodness. So now in the wonderful mindset of, hey, funnels are freaking awesome. Business is freaking awesome. Making money is awesome. Like, my goodness, and I hear you didn't always have this mindset. So what helped you to finally get to the 6-pack ab of business mindset of, hey, money is a good thing and it helps out the family?
Yeah, still working on that. It's a challenge. I definitely started with such a starving artist mindset as a creative person. I always had a scarcity kind of mindset. I've done a lot of mindset work, and it's just starting a business. I really did not realize how much comes down to that mindset. You hear people say it, and then you're in it and you're just like, whoa, boy, I am facing all my personal demons and having to do this personal development that if I hadn't started a business, I probably would have never had to even look at. But yeah, I've done work with some mindset coaches, and being a podcast host myself, I get the opportunity to interview people who can give me mindset tips. And I did a hypnotherapist one time. That was great.
That's what I'm talking about, indeed. You know, the hypnotherapy.
It's still hard because I love what I do and I want to help people and I want to be able to just give it away and do it for free. And I really can't. Like, I'm the sole provider right now for my family. I really can't. And it's hard because I just want to help.
Ah, I got you. That's right, indeed. That's right, because the husband's a teacher or professor, right?
I was a Montessori teacher, and there was some drama last year, and he got pushed out of his job. Now he's a stay-at-home dad, which was something that we both wanted eventually, but we weren't really quite ready for it. We got our hands pushed there. We're little baby birds pushed out of the nest, and we got to fly. But he's loving being a stay-at-home dad. He's so good at it. He's cleaning the house and doing the dishes and doing the laundry and making dinner. And I tell you what, I had no idea how awesome it was to have a stay-at-home spouse. Oh, man, I am living the dream right now. I just close myself in my office and do my work, and dinner magically appears. Oh, my gosh, men have had this for ages. This is amazing.
You're like, yes, this is really what the patriarchy is about now.
I will become the patriarchy.
That's right. If you live long enough, it'll finally come true. So, my goodness, since you've been on both sides of the mic, is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often as a podcast guest?
I don't know. Hashtag always be funneling. I want to talk about my free resources that you can get on my email list.
There you go. Hashtag always be funneling. I'm tempted to make that the episode title now. So my goodness, what's next for you in terms of book writing, or have you not been able to write books because of all the funnel cakes you've been baking?
Yeah, book writing is still a slow process. Although nonfiction writing I find easier than fiction writing is digging into your soul. Nonfiction is here's the facts and some stories that relate to it. At least for me, that's how it's felt. I did write an ebook about book funnels that you can book funnel while you're book funneling. Book funnels within book funnels, experience the book funnel with a book about book funnels. So that's available on my website. And I'm still working on putting it up on Amazon because that will be a way to draw people towards my website and my work. And I've got another fiction novel in the works, but it's been in the works for a long time.
It's a funnelception indeed. That's right, indeed. We got this wonderful podcast, Financially Free Author. What helps you to land on a great title name, and what are the three major things you learned from starting?
The title was also Laura DeFranco and another friend from our chapter of the Donnie Bovine networking group. We were brainstorming together about show names and this new direction that I was taking with focusing on the book funnels. And we brainstormed it together and hit on this one. And I was like, yeah, that really says it all. I like having a good title that's really clear about what it is. Then when people are just browsing and seeing it, they know immediately what they're going to get from it. On Instagram, my handle is Financially Free Authors. But if I'm commenting on somebody's doing, then they see, oh, the comment from Financially Free Author. Oh, what's that about? So having a really descriptive title helps you to draw attention when you're online because people are like, oh, I want to learn about that. And it's just been such a cool experience getting to interview all these people. And when you're a podcast host, you can meet almost anybody. One of my business coaches said to me once, nobody says no to a free stage. Being a podcast guest can be a little harder. You have to really pitch yourself and find the right host, and they might be inundated with requests, and
Oh, yeah.
your episode might not air for ages. Mine is backed up into March now. But when you're the host, you just go to that person who's the top of your industry and say, hey, would you like a free stage to speak on? Would you like a free podcast? Would you like to come and talk about what you do? Of course they do. That's great for them. You get to offer people this amazing value, which helps you to build the relationships with people who are really high up in your niche. It's amazing. Highly recommend.
Yeah, it's true. I resonate wholeheartedly with the podcast hosting struggles. It's like, oh God, not another pitch. I got booked for freaking 5 a month. Stop it. It's all good. Sure, nobody in their right mind, that is, will say no to a free stage. If they're scared of public speaking in their regular 9 to 5, they may change their minds. But yeah, free stage is freaking amazing. That's right, indeed. Especially nowadays where they got to pay to play. It's, hey, I need you to pay $2,000 so you can speak on stage. No.
Yeah, it's such a funny world between the ones that pay you to speak and the ones where you have to pay to speak. And yeah, it's complicated.
I guess it works somewhere, but I'm like, not going for that one.
But yeah, if it just falls in your lap, somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, come on my podcast. How great is that?
That's right, indeed. Oh, my goodness, if I'm not mistaken, the ebook you got that's going to be on Amazon soon, I believe it's titled 18 Ways to Bring People to Your Funnel. So my goodness, if that book was a food, what would it be and why?
That one is more of a booklet resource. And the actual book is You Published a Book, Now What? But the 18 Ways helps you to figure out some ways that you can bring people to that funnel. You said if that were a food?
Yeah.
Sprinkles. It's little sprinkles, little nuggets of ideas. That's not a full funnel cake. You published a book, Now What? Is probably a full funnel cake.
That's hilarious. First one to say sprinkles, but since it's a booklet, it explains why. Oh, man, we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And that is, if you wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but you're still in 2023. Oh, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would say focus on you. Stop worrying about other people, what other people think, or finding somebody to love you. Just pursue your passions, get good at what you do, and the rest will fall into place.
There's that giant puzzle again. That's right, indeed. All's in the place. Another reason why these interviews aren't live, because that'll be freaking hilarious. Be like, what's going on over there?
I do mine live. Yeah, it's an adventure. It's wild. People are generally pretty understanding about small children, and what can you do?
Be like, oh, sure, look like she almost gave up the ghost there. Almost her soul almost left her body for a second. Is she all right over there?
Oh my gosh, my son gives me so many jump scares. It's like living in a horror movie. One day, early in the morning, I woke up, I went down to the kitchen, and I realized across the kitchen from me, standing on the counter, was a completely naked 5-year-old, just silently standing there in 5 a.m. He was getting a snack, but golly, talk about scared.
I guess a good thing Van Halen jump wasn't playing in his head that day. That's good. Oh my goodness. But yes, indeed, folks need to jump into what you're doing. They need to jump into your funnel. That's right. So they can finally have that question mark become clear. It's a funnel cake. And Carol has got all the cake for you to eat. So my goodness, so for those who need to keep in contact with you and all the stuff that you're doing, what's the best way for folks to do?
Yeah, my website, financiallyfreeauthor.com, explains the whole idea of the funnel, how it all works, and how I can do it in one day for you. There's also a free class that you can register for. I do that every Friday afternoon. It's live, and you can ask questions, and you get a walkthrough of exactly what a book funnel is, how it works, and how you build one. I'm always happy for people who are DIYers to go and figure it out themselves. But if that's not what you really want to be spending your time and energy on, then I'm here to do it.
Woohoo! That's right, indeed. You heard that right, folks. Your DIY days are over because Carolyn can help you with the DFY, the done for you, indeed. Funnels, baby. That's right, indeed. From DIY to DFY. That's right, indeed. You don't need to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. She's got you covered like a blanket. That's right, indeed. Or today's thing, she's got you covered like powdered sugar on a funnel cake, y'all. I'm telling you.
It all comes back together.
That's right, indeed. You will not have to be a garden gnome with underpants. Carol's got you covered. Well, before any more rabbit holes appear, any parting words before we close up shop? Any parting words at all?
Yeah, my parting words would be to always know the goal of what you're doing with your marketing. If you're posting something on social media, know what you want as a result. Do you want people to come back to your website? Do you want people to comment? Are you trying to get more engagement? When you are creating a new page for your website, what is the goal? When you're creating an email, what is the goal? This is how a funnel builder thinks. Always, okay, where do I want them to go next? Where do I want them to go next? How can I curate this smooth path for people to walk along?
Thanks a bunch for investing your time by listening to this wonderful podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you really did, do me a solid and leave a review or share this episode with at least 3 people that you think would get some value out of today's content. Advance others to advance yourself.